and the hailstorms here in Colorado. I do miss living here. It's nice to visit Boulder for a little bit. This is the Airbnb for the next few days, and excited to go to the conference tomorrow for QBTS, Qubits conference. Let's jump into what's in store for D-Wave. So everyone's chasing AI, but D-Wave's quantum tech might be the real disruptor. I'm heading to Qubits 2025 in Scottsdale, Arizona tomorrow to see what's coming in Q2. So if you guys want to watch me trade these plays in quantum live every morning and get some of the early market insights that we uncover at Qubits, hit the second link in the description to join Stockmate. I would love to see you guys there at our market session on Monday. So we could start off taking a look at our quantum AI watch list. And if you take a look at Qubits, this is one of the companies we've been watching very closely. Now, the thing about this company is that they recently recovered all the way back to their previous highs at $11.95. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but their market cap is starting to grow. If you take a look at their financials, so there's a few things we're going to look at today for Qubits, QBTS stock. If you take a look at their market cap, they're at 2.2 billion. Their financials were starting to improve. Their revenue was starting to grow. It is literally hailing so hard outside. It's crazy. So as you guys can see, the revenue here on QBTS stock, it's showing like it was improving year over year or quarter over quarter. And then it started to drop off Q3. And then they had a pretty big net income negative here in Q4 2024. And despite, some of the comments from Jensen and NVIDIA saying that quantum computing is 10, 15 years away, the CEO, Alan Barretts from QBTS, essentially said, no, we're using quantum computers right now. Now, of course, we got to go see for ourselves and kind of take a look. It's like when we went to CES to go check out if quantum computers are actually getting, momentum. And we got a lot of, good things out of going to that event, despite seeing a sell-off in the market because of those comments from the NVIDIA CEO. So now that we start to see this recovery, it shot back to previous highs in the past basically 2 weeks. Now it's selling back down. It's at this previous support. And QBTS is looking a little bit more bearish at the moment. Now, that's when we start to look at it and we say, okay, it's looking a little bearish. Does it indicate that this is a trend that's going to continue and we will see it continue to sell off? Maybe break this previous resistance as it's already started to break down to these levels at $4 a share or somewhere like that again in the near future? Well, that's what I want to know. And how do we know that? Well, there's only a few things you can go off of when you're investing in cutting edge technology. You can't really go off of the financials because a lot of times it means there's like startup costs. They're spending money to get their business off the ground. Now, QBTS, they've been around for a while. It's 1999 is when they started. When we look at their company, they say that they've achieved quantum supremacy. They are being used in all industries, from finance to automotive to supply chain and even like climate factors and monitoring the environment. So if you take a look at D-Wave's website, they claim, so we have to go off of what can we go off of if we can't go off financials? And the technicals maybe look like they're going to have an uptrend or maybe continue this trend, but at the same time, recently looking more bearish. Well, you go off of the contracts, you go off of the different approaches that they have into the market and potential business that they're going to be getting. And so when you look at where they're coming from in a commercial perspective, they're very adamant that they say we have powerful, commercial, and trusted quantum solutions. They specialize in optimization of quantum computing, solving complex challenges, and they talk about some of the challenges that they solve, mostly related, if you go down to some of their partners, okay, they're expending 80% less time and effort on creating complex schedules for employees. That sounds like, okay, is that something that quantum computers do? Or is that something that maybe you could do with just AI? So that's something that's in my head. I want to see what makes it unique with the quantum computer. Ford here, Autosun builds production schedules 83% faster. So apparently they're optimizing production schedules for Ford. Then you take a look at NTT Docomo. They're improving the network performance by 15%. So they're in all these different industries, and apparently a lot of people are using the D-Wave network to use their quantum computer and solve complex issues. They have some partnerships with, or they sold some of their quantum computers, which have generated some revenue for them. And then just recently, I think this is a recent article, if I'm not mistaken, March 20th, so about the last week and a half, they announced that they are doing blockchain with proof of quantum work. So that's kind of a big deal. Now, one thing they say is that this requires a fraction of the electricity used by classical resources alone and potentially reduce electricity costs by up to a factor of 1,000. Now, this is what the CEO said. He said, in an industry first, D-Wave is delivering an exciting new quantum blockchain architecture with potential for broad usage across businesses. Coming off the heels of our recent quantum supremacy demonstration, this serves as yet another example of how D-Wave is helping customers realize the value of quantum computing now. We invite the blockchain community to work with us and utilize this exciting new use case for quantum computing. Wow, there's some thunder outside, there's rain, everything. So when I'm looking at D-Wave, and it's been a crazy day actually, I just went snowboarding for like 6 hours in Copper Mountain and woke up at like 5 a.m. But we were still like excited for this. So, and then I also am going to a concert later tonight. So gotta get things in a row, you know. But with D-Wave, it's like they have some good news. You see that there was articles that said they were working with MasterCard, maybe also if I'm not mistaken, with NASA as well. And you look at the sectors that they're in manufacturing, quantum research, quantum AI. That's an interesting one that we cover on the channel. Make sure to subscribe. And at the same time, we're saying, okay, this all looks great. The financials haven't looked so good. And the chart's been highly volatile, which could be expected in a quantum computing company, as it normally is. And so we're going to go see for ourselves when we get into Scottsdale tomorrow, and we're going to this event on Monday, and we'll see what the company is up to in quantum. Now, we have some really great optimisms about the quantum computing market, of course, but at the same time, you know, there is the use cases and how tangible are they in real time or being used right now, specifically from these quantum computing companies. Quantum is being used all around us. The LED light that's shining on me right now that I could touch without getting burned, yeah, that's quantum. If there's, you know, glass that now is, you know, LEDs projecting HD images, and then the next second it's totally clear and you can see through the glass. There's new quantum innovations that are happening all the time, transferring data through light from one machine to another that are 10 feet apart. It's happening. There's a lot of breakthroughs we see every day, and we see the computing power that's much greater than GPUs. But that's the question. Are they going to turn revenues? What do the actual use cases look like from a commercial perspective? And as a company that says we're commercial first, that's our only focus, which is qubits, whereas companies like Rigetti, or that's a quantum computing company, or IONQ, which is a quantum computing company, those companies are in the research phases a lot, and they're saying, you know, we're checking this out. We're having a little bit of work here with these commercial companies, but mostly maybe NASA, or, you know, in development and testing stages with AWS or Microsoft. And so when we're looking at QBTS right now, we're looking at how are they being plugged into businesses like they say that they are. So we'll be at the event. We'll get some coverage for you guys this next week. And whatever it is that we learn at this event, of course, I plan to share it inside of Stockmate for our members. So if you guys want to be there, there's a great sale. It's the second link in the description for lifetime access to watch me trade live and join us in our morning sessions that happen Monday through Friday for Stockmates. Would love to have you there, and looking forward to this upcoming week in the markets. Now, when it comes down to QBTS, there's a few moves that I think we'll have a better understanding of how they're going to react from a fundamental perspective throughout this week. But when it comes to the technicals, again, looks bearish, just broke below this previous resistance that was acting as a support, and it's sunk below that 200-day moving average, and looks like it's even holding below the EMA there. RSI may be indicating more of a buy or the MACD, but there's no indication that it would bounce. There's a stronger chance that it would continue in this downward direction than reverse upwards. So just keep that in mind. Of course, you want to have a plan, but at the same time, it's not something that I would particularly want to buy right now. But there's some other stocks we'll be covering this week. So again, make sure to tune on in. If I earned your guys' like, hit that like button. Do consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.